I want to talk about something I didn't expect to do when I first got into weekly dividend ETFs. For a long time, WPAY felt like the center of my portfolio. It was the ETF I checked every week, the one I built my expectations around, and the one I thought would always stay in that top spot. But over time, the way I looked at weekly income started to change, and that's what eventually led me to sell WPAY and move that capital into MAGY instead. This wasn't a panic move. And it definitely wasn't because WPAY suddenly became a bad ETF. In fact, it still does exactly what it's designed to do. It delivers weekly income exposure through a basket of weekly paying funds, and it tries to capture upside when markets are strong. The issue wasn't that WPAY failed. The issue was that my priorities changed and MAGY started fitting my strategy better. When I first bought WPAY, my main goal was simple. I wanted frequent income, exposure to big-name companies, and something that felt more active than traditional dividend ETFs. It checked all those boxes. It's built around weekly income products, and those products are tied to some of the most talked-about companies in the market. That makes it exciting to hold, especially when markets are moving higher and weekly payouts feel strong. But as time went on, I noticed something about how WPAY behaves. It tends to move fast. When markets are good, it can climb quickly. When markets turn choppy or negative, it can give back gains just as fast. That's not a flaw, it's just the nature of how it's structured. WPAY relies on derivatives and swaps tied to underlying weekly ETFs, and that structure naturally creates sharper movements. At first, I didn't mind that volatility. In fact, I liked it. It made the ETF feel alive. Every week felt different, and every payout felt like a small event. But eventually, I started asking myself a different question. I wasn't just asking how much income I was getting, I was asking how comfortable I felt holding the ETF through different market conditions. That's where MAGY entered the picture. It works very differently from WPAY. Instead of relying on swaps tied to weekly income funds, MAGY uses a covered call strategy on a basket of large, well-known companies, often referred to as the Magnificent Seven. These are companies with massive market influence, strong balance sheets, and long-term relevance in the economy. It writes call options on these holdings, generating income while giving up some upside in exchange for more stability. What immediately stood out to me with MAGY was how smooth it felt compared to WPAY. The price action didn't jump around as aggressively. Down weeks felt more controlled. Up weeks felt slower but more predictable. Over time, that smoother behavior started to matter more to me than chasing the strongest weekly payouts. Another thing that pushed me toward MAGY was how easy it was to understand. Covered call ETFs aren't perfect, but the mechanics are more transparent. You own the underlying companies, you sell calls against them, and you collect option income. With WPAY, you're dealing with layers of weekly ETFs and total return swaps, which can be harder to fully grasp even after reading the prospectus. That complexity doesn't make WPAY bad, but it does add uncertainty. There were weeks where the underlying stocks performed one way and the weekly ETF tied to them performed another. Sometimes the tracking felt off. Sometimes the results didn't line up with what I expected based on the market move. Over time, that disconnect made it harder for me to confidently size my position. MAGY, on the other hand, behaved more like I expected it to. When the underlying companies had strong weeks, it participated, though not fully. When markets pulled back, MAGY tended to cushion the downside thanks to option income. That consistency helped me feel more comfortable holding it as a core weekly income position rather than a tactical trade. Another big factor in my decision was how I thought about reinvestment. With WPAY, reinvesting payouts can feel like chasing momentum. If the ETF is already moving aggressively, reinvesting during a strong period can amplify volatility. With MAGY, reinvesting felt calmer. It felt like adding to a strategy that's designed to grind rather than sprint. I also started thinking more about long-term holding. Weekly income is great, but only if the ETF holds up over time. I wasn't trying to flip in and out every few weeks. I wanted something I could hold through different market cycles without constantly worrying about sharp drawdowns. MAGY fit that mindset better. This doesn't mean MAGY is immune to losses. It still holds equities, and it still reacts to market conditions. But the way it reacts feels more measured. That's important when you're trying to build a portfolio that doesn't keep you glued to the screen every single week. Another reason I made the switch was mental energy. WPAY required more attention. I found myself tracking each underlying weekly ETF, watching how new additions affected the portfolio, and trying to understand why certain weeks performed the way they did. That can be fun, but it can also be exhausting. Maggie simplified things for me. Fewer moving parts, fewer surprises, and a clearer understanding of what drives returns. That simplicity freed up mental space and allowed me to focus on other parts of my portfolio instead of constantly monitoring one ETF. It's also worth mentioning that selling WPAY wasn't about abandoning weekly income altogether. I still like weekly payouts. I still think they have a place in an income-focused strategy. But I realized that not all weekly income ETFs serve the same purpose. WPAY feels more like a higher energy, higher variance income play. MAGY feels more like a steady income engine built around some of the strongest companies in the market. When I line those two roles up against my current goals, MAGY won. There's also the emotional side of investing that doesn't get talked about enough. If an ETF makes you anxious, second guess yourself, or constantly question your decision, that matters. Over time, WPAY started doing that for me, not because it was failing, but because it didn't match how I wanted to invest anymore. MAGY gave me more peace of mind. And in investing, peace of mind is underrated. That doesn't mean everyone should sell WPAY. If you like higher upside potential, don't mind sharper swings, and enjoy tracking weekly performance closely, WPAY can still make sense. It's designed for investors who want exposure to fast-moving weekly income strategies. But if you're someone who values smoother price action, clearer mechanics, and a more defensive income approach built around established companies, MAGY deserves a serious look. For me, selling WPAY and moving into MAGY wasn't about chasing better performance. It was about alignment. Alignment with my risk tolerance, my time horizon, and how involved I want to be on a week-to-week basis. At the end of the day, investing isn't about finding the best ETF. It's about finding the ETF that fits you. What fits you today might not fit you a year from now, and that's okay. Strategies evolve, portfolios evolve, and sometimes selling something you once believed in is just part of that process. If this helped you think differently about weekly dividend ETFs, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments whether you'd stick with WPAY, switch to MAGY, or hold both for different reasons. See you in the next one.